Smile.
There you go.
You're on Candy Camera, right?
We're good. So now let's all behave because the recording has started. Okay, you can keep your cameras
That's when
on,
you
but
don't
just
behave.
This is the part where I don't behave.
just notion that we're going to publish then this on our YouTube channel. Okay,
No worries.
so if you stay online on camera, you're agreeing that your image is going to be published there. Okay. So I would just like to welcome everyone to another amazing session that we have on the Azure and AI User Group Portugal. And today we have Marco and Brady that they are going to talk about work smart, not hard. Just how to retire your legacy code. Using GitHub Copilot. So I'm actually very excited for this session. I don't know about you guys, but at least I am because I actually am doing a lot of migration work for several customers of mine, and there's always this this big challenge of, hey, let's not touch this works, right? But I'm like totally against that saying. I'm like, hey, if it works and it's old, we should touch it and we should improve it, and let's see if we can actually break it so that we know where to fix things. Okay. So I'm that guy. Okay. So I'm actually really, really excited for this. Um, so
Tiago, sorry,
Brady.
man. You're excited because you want to retire yourself.
Well, that's a
calling
long
you
time ago.
legacy.
When I went to university, we had the list, okay, of all the courses in the country, and I actually tried to search for like a degree on retirement, but I couldn't find that, so I actually had to go into IT. Okay, so that was my second choice, was IT. Okay, sorry to disappoint you, my friend. Okay. But yeah, why not? Just go straight into that. That's where we go. Hopefully, right into retirement one day. Okay. But no. So I'll just give the guys the floor. But before, I just need to say one thing, because I forgot to say this. Global Azure. Okay. So we're going to have on the 18th of April Global Azure. 18 de Abril in Portuguese. Okay. It's going to be in Microsoft globalazure.pt. It's our website. If you didn't see it yet, Pedro just post the link in the chat. So go there, register yourselves. It's free. Okay, it's a full day of fun. And this day, okay, we're actually going to bring something really, really cool. Okay, that me and Pedro are going to have a meeting next week in Microsoft with some very special person so that we can actually bring something very, very hands-on and very practical also into Global Azure. Okay, so register because seats are limited, and after we get to a certain number, we actually can't accept more people. Okay, so don't forget to go there and register yourselves ASAP. Okay. And with this, hey, Marco,
Thank
Brady,
you.
welcome so much. Welcome. And it's a pleasure to have you guys here. And the floor is yours.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tiago. So quick introductions for those that don't know me. I'm Marco Antonio Silva. I'm a global black belt at our EMEA team for Migrate and Modernize. So basically, and in the team, I'm responsible for exactly this point. So the topic of getting rid of legacy and evolving .NET and Java code to new versions, containerizing that, everything that is cloud native. And I'm also the AI evangelist here in Portugal. Brady, you want to also introduce yourself and kick this off?
Sure can. I'm Brady Gaster. I've been at Microsoft about 15 years. I've done a lot of things. I have only been to Lisbon once, unfortunately. I want to go back again and probably not leave. Right now, I work in the app modernization space as well, specifically over in the apps and agents team in Core AI, formerly DevDiv. We build tools for developers who build stuff for customers, and we also help people migrate their apps from on-prem to cloud.
So cool.
Our cloud.
Exactly. So, Brady, do you want to kick this off or should I? How do you want to do it? Let's go.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to go through a couple slides, I've got our CLI demo queued up, a couple of other demos queued up in videos. So whatever.
Let's round these guys a little bit, and then let's do some demos, because I think this is better for you guys. And guys, make this as collaborative as possible. So bring your questions, go off mic. This is way more fun if we go off script, because there's no fixed script, to be honest. So we're already off script always. If you have been to sessions of me or even from Brady, because I know that he's a little bit like me, we're always off script. It's always fun. So the goal here is to I'll give you a quick introduction on this. So the way that Microsoft has been evolving our own products, and the way that code has been evolving in the last couple of years with the introduction of agents and AI, the developer experience is completely different. So we now have so much infused AI in tools that it changed the paradigm, and we still have to adapt and to deliver more with all of these agents. So we need to be proficient in this. So if you think about the Microsoft landscape as a whole, it's completely infused with AI. If you think about, and let's leave the developer tools for last, but think about how you're doing reliability today. If you haven't tried it, it's not going to be in the demos today, but check out the SRE agent. It's amazing what you can do in operating and full-on reliability of your infrastructure on Azure or even on Arc, with the agents installed in your local infrastructure, that you can do with automation and agentic reliability. It's amazing. If you think about data, and also not part of the session, but if you think about how the tools around data exist, Fabric, Foundry, so all of that part has agents inside and governance of agents built into all of these platforms. And of course, what we're going to be talking about, our developer tools, I think we're the first to really change deeply the way that we work with GitHub Copilot first, and evolving with all of the engines that we now have and all of the tools, the CLI and everything. Man, Jesus, I can't even remember how these products were before. I'm so addicted to the way that we're doing this, and I'm not saying this because I have the Microsoft logo on me. I'm telling you, I cannot go back. If they for some reason kill AI, I'll retire. I'll go with Thiago, and I'll retire early, because I don't want to go back. Please don't take me off the island. I love this island. So
that's probably a energy grid problem.
Yeah,
at some point
that happens.
It probably is, and you haven't even seen Squad yet, so don't even get me started. But really, what he said there is like so abundantly true. Marco and I collaborated all year last year, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and we banged ideas out and collaborated with Tommaso and some other folks all year last year, and it was like, I think I get it, and then I didn't get it, and then I think I get it, and I didn't get it, and then I got it.
So true.
And there's no turning back. There's literally no turning back. And and when that moment happens, you'll feel it. So yeah.
And to the point where the way that we're thinking about now is, there's a lot of apps that are far away from this world, and we need to solve this problem. And when you're thinking about your apps, there's three parts of your app that can benefit from this modernization and have solutions for this. So you need to think about how to streamline your data part of your app and integrate that with AI models and new features, and infuse these new practices into your apps. So that's one thing that you can do. The other is how you streamline your operations. So on the right side, how do you going to streamline your operations? And you talked about the SRE agent, and there's more things that you can do. And then you have the app itself. How can I now bring it to the next level, because the app is running. This is my core business possibly, and I need to make it more modern so that I take more out of that app. So that's where we are, and that's where these solutions fill in the gap is. We should be using these AI agents exactly to do that. So Copilot is the core orchestrator that you could use, but and if you have tried it, possibly you already told Copilot to change stuff in your app, maybe try to modernize your app directly with just Copilot, and yep, it would be an interesting path, but it will take you a lot of iterations. It will not be a pleasant experience, and that's normal because you're not using so Copilot is a good tool for iteration and development. Then you have to build on top of it, and to build on top of it, what we started using, it was more than just the agent mode and the coding agent, is to build a plugin, a tool to integrate inside Copilot, exactly to have the app modernization. It uses other tools that already exist, AppCat, and it's more structured than any prompt that you're going to be doing, because it will not just look at the code, it looks at results of other tools that the plugin has that understand Java or .NET at the moment, and possibly more in the future, but not we're recording. But there's a lot of modernization that we need to be doing here. But that think about this as a structured, a little opinionated, but that opinionated part of the app is the part that you want the opinions from the framework, so from these libraries, from these dependencies. So that's where you can really take the most out of this modernization. GitHub, oh, I still have, sorry. So it changed name, sorry, missed this one. Changed all of the slides, forgot this one. So it's called GitHub Copilot Modernization now. It's not App Modernization, was the previous name. New version that came out last week. And it is exactly what we are going to be talking about. And possibly a little bit more if we have time. So just 2 more slides and we go to demo so that you understand what this is. So the GitHub Copilot Modernization has its own workflow. That's why I said it's a little bit opinionated. So you will go into, with your legacy application, into an assessment. Then you're gonna plan that upgrade, and then migrate all of that, and then test and deploy your application as the last phase. So we'll give you reports of all of these steps, and you can give feedback. It's like any other agent mode that you experience, but very guided through this workflow. Where does it fit inside the full-on modernization space? This is not the tool to do a re-architect, okay? This is a tool to do a more of a refactor / replatform of your application. So you have a legacy application running on a legacy version of .NET Framework with many legacy dependencies. You need to refactor all of your code for the new version, and then you can containerize it, but it's not going to give you like a domain-driven design of your application and migrate it to a microservice. Okay, so that you understand where this goes in. So you're in the space where you're moving your application into a cloud-native space, but it will not cease to be a monolith, okay? That you're evolving it in terms of platform, replatforming it, and reshaping it to be and solving a lot of security issues probably that you have, okay? So that's where you are. I'll drop some links in for on the chat during the demo so that you guys can go and try this out. But I invite you guys to do exactly that. Do you want to see some demos? Ray, do you want to kick it off with the CLI one, and then I'll take it to a modernization one.
Totally. What I'll do here, I do not want to include sound because I want to talk over this. So we worked on this will be pretty meta. So a couple weeks back, we had this event that has happened already, or I wouldn't be able to show you this. And the idea behind the event was to kind of work through a variety of different modernization exercises with our new products. And I'll show you Squad here in a few minutes. And we kind of had this moment where it was like we have all these features that we want to show, but we don't have like a demo app. And like, you've been through this before. Like, hey, we have these features. We don't have a demo app. What do we do? And everybody shows up with different demo apps that have no continuity whatsoever, and you can't tell a story. So I said, well, let's see what we can do. So I said, Squad, I'd like you to build an app that has like, we want to show these features of our product, and it knows about our product because it helps build it. See how that works? So we said, we want you to highlight these features of our product line that we're shipping in a demo. We want that demo to be built using the following technology. And none of the technology should be younger than 2007, 2017 or something like that. So it built the apps for us, and then we could work through these samples. So these are sample apps, I have to admit, that are way smaller than we'll be modernizing in real life. But this is kind of an old school, social site for folks like myself and my other architect on the team who are kind of sneakerheads. And it's built through, using 3 different repos. Essentially, there's a front end and a middle tier that are Java JSP. And then there's a back end that's written in ASMX. Anybody remember that? So we open up our modernized CLI, and we've got essentially a file that points to all those repos. It's called repos.json. And we're actually going to delegate this to that cloud agent instead of running all this locally. And what's going to happen now is this is actually going to start a cloud agent running up in GitHub that's going to fan out and begin to do all of this, all 3 of these modernization exercises all at one time. So you can actually see this is the thing spinning up in the cloud. And once that assessment's actually done, you would get an assessment report that would kind of show across all the different repos. If it's 3 repos, if it's 30 repos, you would see them all represented here in terms of like what that assessment report included and, what the suggestions are and, which direction you want to go. You have the capability to tweak this. You have the capability to tweak the plan after you go. It's all Markdown. The new programming language of the universe is Markdown. But you can even see here that, later on, once it's readied, I can actually go and I can look at that pull request, and the pull request doesn't contain a lot. Really, all it contains is a bunch of Markdown and, a JSON file that's essentially, the plan that it thinks I should follow. As I click on, through the different files in the PR, you'll see that most of them are indeed going to be, Markdown. But we actually use, Copilot, is really, really great at actually spitting out these great, wireframe documents that I can actually bring down whenever it's time for me to actually do the modernization, on my computer if I want to. I can also do that directly from within the CLI. So this is a case where you can actually see our update happening. Let me actually pause that video. There's a question here. Oh, what's your question, David?
Thank you, Brady. I'm actually quite curious about 2 things. So you showed UML. Does it support like intuitively Mermaid or other diagram? Mermaid.
Mermaid.
Okay, because I enjoy Mermaid. And does it have to be triggered by the CLI, or can I, on the agents from github.com, can I throw a text to that modernizing app coding agent?
That's a great question. Today, it's the modernized CLI will trigger the coding agent.
Okay.
And we have business and technical reasons why we went CLI first. I have probably going to turn it into an agent that can be called from other things as well.
Okay.
It's already that way because our CLI sits on top of the GitHub Copilot SDK. So, it can go either way. And that's something weird. I don't know if Marco, you should probably do some song and dances on the GitHub Copilot SDK, because one of the things that you learn about it is as you start building, I've seen, this is a moment for everybody. If you start building on top of the GitHub Copilot SDK, what you learn is what that SDK does is it opens up sessions just like the one in your CLI. So when you're doing something with GitHub Copilot SDK, it's just spawning a session and like having a conversation with an LLM in the background. So you can write an CLI that just does that work for you, or you can write something that just sits on top of the SDK and use it inside the GitHub Copilot CLI. When people kind of figure that out, you're like, I can go either way. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I built one for Obsidian. If you guys are using Obsidian for notebooks, Alex Vieira and myself are working on exactly that. So basically a Copilot to build agents that produce documentation, and you're using it on your notes. It's called Sidekick instead of Copilot. It's Sidekick on Obsidian.
Nice.
I can drop you guys if you're using Obsidian. I can drop you the repo here as well.
That's cool. And, back to the upgrade story, in this case, upgrade and modernize are kind of two different chapters. At this point, what I've got is those two Java apps. What I want to do is delegate their just framework upgrade, from Java X to Java, whatever. I'm saying that because I don't know Java. I barely speak Java. So at this point, it's actually going to do that cloud coding agent again, facilitate the upgrade process as individual pull requests on different branches. So it's actually going to go out to both those repos. And this just kind of shows like modernizing at scale, like a developer would probably like to be in control in their seat, kind of show that next from within Visual Studio. But this kind of shows if you've got 1,000 apps you need to modernize, that'll take 10 years. You don't have 10 years. We want you using AI today. So, a lot of these applications, you can't use the AI and you can't use some of this cloud stuff until you modernize them. So that's why we want to help folks get there quicker. So this is the case where you've got that .NET backend. Again, it is Mermaid, and the AI is really good at generating Mermaid. It's fantastic at it. It's also really good at generating Reveal.js presentations. So if you ever want to give a presentation about your code base, you can actually tell the LLM build me a Reveal.js presentation. So this just shows kind of how we're back in Visual Studio on this .NET side. And if I want to, I can actually use those modernization tools and the GitHub upgrade tools directly from within Visual Studio. So this just shows how I'm using the GitHub Copilot chat right inside of Visual Studio. That actually calls out to the modernize, just like we have modernize CLI, we have actually MCP tools as well that we ship inside of Visual Studio, inside of VS Code. So this is a case where we're actually using those tools to do the upgrade. Now, I love this part because I don't love controllers. This is a case where I'm going to inject myself and tweak the plan because I don't want controllers. I want minimal APIs. So you can see right there in midstream, I actually tweaked the way that was going to work and changed the output of it. And this shows how once you're done with your .NET upgrade, you can actually go in here and you can tweak the way your migration to Azure is going to work. If you saw that menu selected right there, what we do in this dialog, and this is the same stuff we have on the CLI. This actually uses our CLI, kind of shows you where we're going. This is the same thing we have in VS Code. The experience looks exactly the same. And right here, what you would do is if you were to change this menu from app service Windows, which doesn't support MSMQ, to AKS Windows, which sure, I don't know why you do that. MSMQ will turn yellow, which means it would be optional. It means you can keep it if you want to. And they don't have this in the logic at the point in time where we made this video, but App Service MI would also enable you to do MSMQ directly on App Service MI. That's valuable because that enables folks who just want to do rehost. They don't want to do anything. But this is all cool, but my favorite part of this is it's not even the cloud coding agent. Cloud coding agent is groovy. This is my favorite part right here. So let me show you this cool thing. So here's the thing. If Marco ever tells you my modernization tool can do it all. I've already predicted. I have a PhD in machine learning. I've already predicted every problem you're going to have. Run as fast as you can, because that product is a product you don't want. Okay, so here's an example. So this is an example where I've got this Java code base. I'm going to confuse you with two purple mouses. So this is the case where I've actually said, I want you to give me your modernization plan. And it's going to go through, it's going to use all the skills that it has and all the knowledge. And it's going to say, okay, this is what I'm going to recommend you do right here. So you can look at this list, migrate to Azure, change your Java version, containerize it, because why not? Upgrade to Spring Boot, and use app service with Java 17. But there's something missing here. I actually have some custom stuff. That title's in the wrong place. I have some custom skills that I want to bring in here. We actually use on our Java product, we need a specific way of interfacing with the Azure Service Bus. We use the AMQP client, and we also have our own jar that we use to actually do some custom business logic, aka stuff. So you can see that awesome ASB jar, that's our stuff. So we actually have this custom skill, and whenever we run the modernization thing, we want to tweak it and do what we want, not what Microsoft wants. So we've actually written this skill that actually modifies that entire modernization process. You see over there on the right, it didn't say anything about Azure Service Bus. So I'm going to start a new chat here so that I go ahead and get that context of that new skill. I'm just going to run the same prompt. I'll literally just hit the up arrow. Now what you see, we've augmented it. So you see there, now I've got that migrate from RabbitMQ to Azure Service Bus using my custom skill and my custom jar. That shows how we're enabling you to actually use some of this new, AI stuff, skills MDs. You know what I mean? You know who's really good at writing skills MD? You don't have to do it. You can ask Copilot for it.
Yeah.
So you can totally ask Copilot, hey, I have this thing. I've done this thing 4 or 5 times. You and I have iterated through this 4 or 5 times. Look at my chat history, write a skill. Now you have a skill. Now you can drag that skill in.
Yeah.
So back to you.
This is so cool. This is so cool, guys. Any questions, guys? Want to see some more demos? Let's kick this off again, like to me. And
I'm sorry, this box that my son delivered has something in it that needs to be refrigerated. So I apologize for dropping.
go for it. Go for it. Go for it, Brady. No worries. No worries. Where is my visual? So I Brady was showing you guys. I have oh, I forgot to share this link. Here you go. If you guys want to see this demo and do it yourselves as well, I prepared this in a repo that has step-by-step how to do a modernization of a .NET application using GitHub Copilot modernization. Okay, so this demo here, you have all of the branches. Each branch is one of the steps: the SES, the upgrade, the SV check. You can start wherever you want if you want to accelerate some part, or you can just see the outputs of each of these branches with the multiple commits in between. So this is a good way for you guys to start. So this is the app at the beginning. So basically, if you clone this repo, you will have an app to modernize, not a modernized app. You need to jump to the last branch to see it completely modernized. So if you take a look at this, this is let me just run it. It's easier. And this is a classical MVC application. Okay. And let's see how it looks like the modernization process, like Brady was showing you, in a different way. So I'll show this here in Visual Studio, and we can take a look at the different approach as well with Spec to Cloud. Is another cool thing that you can try it out. So if here we go on the other screen. So my app is running like many of the legacy apps that you have, because if they're not running, then that's a different problem that you need to fix. So the app probably is running, and someone is happy with the results. So this is the Contoso University app, where you have students. There's a database behind it. It's running a local SQL server. You can check details of a student. You can edit the details, change the admission date. So it's admitted on a Saturday. You save it, and now it's on that day. You get notifications here. Some small bugs, but well, like any app, right? Also things to fix, but it's running. You're happy. Your team is happy managing a very old .NET framework application. Maybe some of you are young enough not to have met the pre.NET Core era, but well, I built some of these, so I need to clean up my mess that I left on some of my customers. So this is where the app is. So one way that you could do it is so if you're using Visual Studio today, and many enterprise customers probably are, you have that. If you updated your Visual Studio, then you already have this. You don't need to add any add-ins to it. It's here. You go and it will open up a new chat to modernize with Copilot chat. So this is your Copilot chat window in an experience, a thread called modernize. So you can go here and you can directly say upgrade to a new version of .NET, and it's always fixed in agent mode, and you just go. Okay, done. And we will start the assessments, and then I'll show you some of the outputs because it can take a little bit of time. And this is why I have the repo already ready for you guys. If you want to show it off on your companies, to your teams, this is easy for you just to go and check out everything that's on the repo. So it will ask you, okay, a target upgrade to upgrade .NET to .NET 8. I find it odd. I don't like it. This is where you can also give feedback. Upgrade to .NET 9 for LTS support, for instance, or you could go directly to 10 if you wanted to. And then he will checking out the branch, upgrade to .NET 9. Look at this. He created the branch for this, checked out the branch, and now he's working on this branch to start do your assessment. So best practices always in, you don't need to really explain to him the process. Like I said, somewhat opinionated, but it's a good type of opinionated. It will get you there. Okay, so he analyzed your code, and he said, okay, so look, you have some SVEs that you need to take care of. You have some security vulnerabilities you need to take care of, and you can decide address the security vulnerabilities during the upgrade, or come back to security after. I want to address them as part of the modernization. You could write this down. You can write something else. It's just there for you to click. The experience should be easy for you to go through when you're doing the chat. You already saw in the CLI, already showed you also the CLI experience. You have this one here as well, so you can also test it out, and you will just start running and getting a plan in. And this is where I will then skip a little bit and go through the fast forward to some of the other parts in the repo, just because of time. But this is basically the process running. While this is doing the initial assessment, let me just check. Any questions, guys? Did you ever try this? No?
Me?
I've tried with very little success.
Very little success. Okay. Yeah. I want to learn more, maybe offline. You can tell me more about that. I've been trying it with high levels of success. So little success hasn't been. So I would love to get that feedback in.
It's probably because I'm on the first steps of it.
Oh, okay. But still, love to get to pick your brain and understand where did you hit those walls, and also try to help you. But if nothing else, just to get that feedback. So basically, you get like anything that you would expect, and Brady was telling you exactly that. So the world in coding now is based on MDs. So Markdown is the language that you want to address, to use, and he will be putting you all of those MDs here inside your GitHub upgrades folder. You just populate that. So he created this upgrade plan. You can look at it. You can change it. You can ask him to change it if you don't like anything, or you could just go there and start editing it, adding more points here. I normally chat with it and ask him to do the changes. If it's just a small change, you can do it directly. It's not a problem, because this is context for him. Okay, so whatever it is here is it is the basis for it to work. So this is the job that he's going to do. This is his context window that will be persistent throughout this process. This is the assessment that he did. Okay, so if I go now to different branches, and I can navigate here, it's probably going to be easier. If after you did the upgrade, you get an upgrade report. Okay, so this is the upgrade report. So after, so I accepted that plan and said go. Takes a little bit of time depending on the size of your code, but you're gonna go iterate through all of your projects. I did a 38 project last week. I was doing a 38 project modernization. Took me one day, but it had a bunch of other changes that would just not just the dependencies, and it had needed to refactor a lot of code. He did that. And here you go. Here's your upgrade report. He removed this library. So, and look, you have multiple commits where he did the different changes. If you look at this branch, you're going to see a lot of commits. He will just be doing tasks, committing task, commit, task, commit, task, commit, like any other developer would do. So this makes it really easy for you guys to then take a look at what he was doing, do the PR. If you get the PR from this, from someone that did the modernization, the PR looks good. It's not just one big commit with 10,000 files. It's iterative. You can really read through it. So it's and you get all of the commits and what he was doing on each of them. And so this is the full report. And then finally, what features were upgraded inside each of the files. And then he says, okay, so these are the next steps. And this is just a modernization step. And if I go now back to my my branches, and I do go to unit tests. So now back to upgrades. He did run the tests, and the cool part of it is not only run the tests, but he gave me where is it? Did I went to the wrong folder? Probably did. Oh, here you go. Running test coverage, and then you go unit test. I think it's on the README file. Hey. So when we were discussing, he told me what tests he was going to do and which test frameworks he wanted to use. I could have said, no, I don't want these I don't want to use XUnit. I want to do a different one, and he would just adapt. These ones were the ones that I decided. So this is the technology stack that I decided for the tests. And then if you go through it, he outputted the final results around here. Test covers around 80+%. And where is the quick start MD? I lost one of the files here. Not gonna go through all of it. So here you have the upgrade report. Oh, missing one. He put me a report of the tests. Can't find it now, but it's here. I would just go through the commits and I'll find it, but I'm not gonna waste your time now looking for it. And finally, what I want to show you guys is after all of this modernization done, I built the application in a container. So it built me the Docker file to run my application. Okay, still a monolith. Okay, so one container for everything, for the website, the database is there. There's not the database itself, but the connection to the database. So there's no API. It didn't evolve, it didn't re-architect my application, but it put it in a way that I can now run it on my Kubernetes cluster if I wanted to. Okay, so and I can iterate a little bit more with it and re-architect it if need be, but I'll be starting from a point where the app is already modern. I don't need to figure out how to use old version of enterprise framework and enterprise libraries and whatever legacy dependencies you have. So this is a full-on modernization. If you go through this process, we will take you around on this code stack something between 30 minutes and 40 minutes to go through if you want to try it out, and you would have gone through all of the steps. Okay, and hopefully this repo is a good starting point for you guys to do your first contact with modernizing a .NET application. And hopefully, Andre, I'm not saying I'm not going to help you on your case, but maybe this could also guide you a little bit to a more successful first experience, hopefully. So this was one case that I wanted to show you guys. I have another example that a different approach that I want to show you is, oh, no, I want to restart. 1 second. So coming back here to the way that we've been building. I alluded a little bit on this point is, yeah, we started building these apps and doing this modernization and changes a lot based on prompts. This was how we all started. Maybe some of you still use GitHub Copilot and other coding agents in this manner. So you prompt everything, explain everything, iterate, and the agent mode is your default mode. Good. Okay, so you have a lot of context inside the chat, but that's not the best way for you to do. So typically you get a little bit frustrated with that. It hallucinates a little bit, creates functions that don't exist, and you need to iterate many times. Okay, so the way that this has been evolving is to this concept of spec-driven development. And this is the basis. I was showing you a lot of MDs with context and everything. So this is the basis for these type of tools that I was showing you. And this architecture principle of your workflow is very interesting. And if you haven't read a little bit on this, my advice is for you to do, because it will. Brady was talking about when it clicks. This will probably click and you'll never go back. The way that this works is you ask it to build the specs, to build the MD files, to explain what is going to be doing, and then use that to build what you want it to do. Okay, so it's a multi-step approach, but then the context window will not go over. You will always look at the state, so you have these MD files work like a state, so you'll be updating it as it goes along. You can quit your session now and then come back, like we all do when we're developing, and then keep on working on all of those. So this is spec-driven development. It's a huge shift from where we've been beginning this to a more spec-centered. So it's not the code, it's the spec. The spec is the basics. Go, Brady.
I didn't want to rush you, so yeah. If you weren't done, take your time. On that, one thing I wanted to show y'all, as we start leaning in on, some of these spec-driven tools. I'm going to steal your screen 1 second.
So the first link here, guys, that what Brady is going to show you is really.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And it's actually relevant here. Y'all like. Wow, I might debut something. I want to debut something. I'm going to debut something.
You're going to debut something?
I'm going to debut something. It's going to be awesome. All right, so we have that thing y'all saw, that little sample that you saw me walk through, Zava Social. It's like that series of apps. I do want to apologize. My squad did a terrible job with some formatting. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But this is our internal GitHub, so I do apologize. You might see some variance in the UI. But what you'll see here is that I literally went in and I told my agents, let's not introduce any other concepts yet, but I told my agents, you know, I want you to write a spec for me. I want you to look at these 3 repositories. And then the other thing that I'll show you here in a second, because I have this tool that will enable squads to communicate with one another. And what I wanted to do was basically plop all 4 of these squads. You know, there's one squad that's kind of the social network squad, and then 3 squads that are not the social network squad. You know, each one of them is a part of the Zava social, you know, thing. And essentially just say, y'all talk it out, figure it out. I'm going to give you like some very loose instructions, and y'all have a conversation. And I sat here and I wrote a prompt that was probably that long. And I think I said, ChatGPT, like, you know, I have this thing called Squad because it knows. Here are 3 repos. Write me a prompt that would kind of generate like a spec. Okay, because I'm not really good at prompting, and I'm impatient. And as you'll see, like, I like to use them together or against one another because, you know, it works. So I asked it for a small prompt, and then I used that prompt to build this. And essentially what that is go look at these 4 repos and write a spec for me on how I would set this up so these guys talk to one another. And I filed an issue and I assigned it to Copilot, and then I went to bed. And when at some point later, I got out of bed and I had this document. Gentleman in the room that likes mermaid, me too, a lot. All my squads have a mermaid author. So you can see here that it has drawn this whole thing out, and it, you know, created the entire specification, you know, created the entire thing here where, you know, it will go through the process of, you know, telling each one of these squads, this is how I want you to set yourselves up. And it literally went through the entire thing. And this is the spec that basically I could probably aim all 3 squads at this PRD and say, figure it out. And they'll go off and they'll figure it out. And when you start using them together like that, I think that's when you really start to see that power. And I think a lot of it is because, you know, we're all impatient people. You know, like, you know, if you're a programmer, you're probably impatient. You probably have a little bit of ADHD like me, and you want it to go fast. And I think that when you're doing that single threaded conversation with Copilot, sometimes it can wane. And you know, and when you've got these multiple agents that work together quickly, that's when the rubber kind of meets the road, and you really start to see things take off. So, you know, that's kind of what Squad ends up being. And there's a lot of these frameworks. I'm not trying to tell you one is better than the other. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of these frameworks out there. It's really a matter of time. You know, like the best framework today will be passed tomorrow. So yeah.
This is moving really fast, guys, and I think, like Brady was saying, if the way that in my personal opinion, the way that we've been doing this is really cool, but it's slow, and yeah, I get a lot of I get impatient, so I prefer this approach with multiple agents. Go YOLO on them and do me the stuff and don't bother me, and I'll be doing some meetings and then look at the outputs. So this paradigm shift that we're talking about, if you haven't experienced it, I highly recommend that you look a little bit deeper on this and shift from code to specs in the center of your iterations. And if you do that, what you will start seeing is higher levels of abstractions when you're looking at your specs, and even your agents now are definitions of in an MD file that has all of those behaviors that you want to be done in the different parts of your workflow, and you're modeling concepts and behaviors instead of instructions and codes. That's like, remember when you guys, some of you older and with gray hair probably remember doing exactly doing assembly and everything, and then moving into C and abstractions, and then saying I'm never going back. So for me, pure prompting is the same levels. It's a low-level thing that you're interacting with the agent that you don't want. You want levels of abstraction. You want to build at a higher conceptual level, both the instructions and instruction sets and the context, and not the prompt themselves. The prompts don't care. Brady was saying he doesn't like, it's not good at prompting. It doesn't like prompting, so he asks another agent to do the prompting. That's exactly it. It is important, but is it the core? No, you need to recenter that to a higher point. So that's where you want to do, is have these specs to the entire solution. Okay,
That's true.
Yeah, at the management assembly. Yeah, that's fun. You're gonna have nightmares, Pedro. That's I'll send you some cool cool themed music for your this night.
That's awesome.
So this is the definition for me. This image, it's a generated image. Has you can see, if you can spot the bug, you'll see that it's generated. But it is what you want, right? Is to be the chef and the cook. And define the recipe, have someone else, in this case, not someone, in this case, the Copilot, to implement it. Okay, so that's the goal. And if you're thinking about the chef and the cook, he's not concerned about the process itself and instructing you step by step. He's defining you a high-level recipe of ingredients, and then if the recipe is good, and you're good at cutting stuff and putting it on the stove and everything, you don't need the recipe will be your best guide, and the dish will be amazing, and you're gonna have a great dinner. So trust that the implementation will be done, and get to the high level and just define the recipe. That's my 2 cents. So on that sense, and last thing that I want to show you guys is this other repo. And I'm gonna just guide you through a little bit of what it is. I'm gonna just share that repo here in the chat. Here we go. So this is based on another repo called Spec to Cloud. You can go through this, and that's the. It's not just for modernization. This can do 2 things. Oh, and I can open that one for you guys and just explain that to you. So Spec to Cloud is a spec-driven development framework that you can use for both brownfield and greenfield. So you can use it to build your application from scratch, from specs, and then build, or you have an existing application and you can do 2 things. You can add new features to it. It's already modernized, or you can do a modernization with it as well. So it's a less opinionated approach, but gives you a little bit more of leeway to do a re-architect if need be. If you wanted to, you can extract the specs from your brownfield and say, now build me new in a containerized version, spec that part out, and you can have it it's not just modernized, but re-architected. Okay, and what does it bring? It will bring you, basically, you guess it, agents. Okay, what this framework is, and this is literally, it's not an application, it's not a plugin, it's just a framework for you to add to your code, basically, these agents. So you have dev agents, you have an architect agent, a planner agent, PM agent, okay, a tech analyst agent, and it will also bring you guess it, pre-built prompts to build the FRDs and PRDs, and to go through all of the steps. And went too far, apparently. And another cool thing is you have oh, this is getting started. Not this one, is spec structure workflows. So here we go. Greenfield, you start and you do a /PRD, and the PM agent will build you the PRDs, /FRD will break that into features, /generate agent will get you the agent's MD, /plan will break down all the tasks into plan, and then you can choose either to delegate that into issues, and it will just use the MCP server and create the issues, and then you can write it off and write it out in GitHub, or /implement in the dev agent will implement it locally. /deploy will get you the infrastructure as code to deploy to production, and it's done. Or in brownfield, you have the reverse engineer to reverse engineer everything, and then you can do a modernize or an extend, depends on which type of brownfield are you going through, and then you can do the plan and then have it deployed as well for you. Go, Pedro.
Just sharing one of the good experiences that we had with using Copilot and using AI to build software and to develop was instruct the agents to work in TDD. So whatever you need to do, write the test first, then do the code, and then check if it passes the tests. After we started doing this, the experience evolved immensely because it was able to interact multiple times, doing multiple commits until the tests were passed, and then only then could continue to something else. So just sharing. By the way,
I'm gonna let me just look at, where is it? It's on a different branch on this one.
By the way, Brady mentioned Mermaid. There's also something. My documentation of code has evolved immensely since I started asking Copilot to do my documentation, and always put the damn mermaid diagram in the documentation.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't show you the best lunch.
If this, Brady, you did a sneak peek of new features. You did on this call. I'll risk it a little bit and sneak peek what we've been working on this repository. So there's a new branch called vNext. Okay, guys.
You're not competing with my team again, are you? Gonna get really
no competition here. No competition by far. But just because Pedro told that point, it's exactly what we started moving. So vNext.
Nice.
This is the flow. Okay. For the next version of Spec to Cloud, it's being all focused on CLI. Okay, for now. Because honestly, I'm using CLI for everything, and this is us doing stuff in between meetings. So we're choosing ourselves first, and we're our first customers for this. So there's basically two phases, okay? The product discovery phase, where you write the specifications, okay, and you refine them, and then it does a UI UX design with the skill for UX design, and this builds you the first working prototype, all built in HTML, as well as a workflow step by step of the process that you spec'd out, and you will build you that working prototype, okay? And then you will do incremental planning, and then do the tech stack first. And then, to your point, when you're starting to do in development, this is incremental, like sprints. And what the first thing that it does is build the tests. And to your answer, and building on top of what you said, this new version, and it's already working. We already did one repository. It's good. That's why we started to work on the PR to merge this to the main. It will build you the gherkin tests. Okay, so this is feature tests, feature level tests. That's not unit tests. Then you will build the contracts and start implementation. And the way that it implements is, now it has the contracts, it iterated with you the contracts, it has the gherkin tests, it cannot change any of the feature tests. It needs to build unit tests, and they need to fail, and then implement it so that the test passes. So this is how it is now grounded to do in the vNext. So guys, test this out. Love to get your feedback on this. Test the current main version if you want. The branch is public. You can go to the vNext one and start testing it out. We'll be merging it. So as you can see, we're working on this daily. It will be merged soon, hopefully, in the near future. But we're always looking for feedback, honest feedback. So, guys, feel free. And this is valid for all of the tools. I know that Brady and his team and myself collecting a lot of feedback and signals from every single thing that we've been showing you guys. This is cutting edge, but it is what we should be all focused, to be honest. So your feedback it's not coming in too early. It's exactly now. This is the moment for you guys to shape this as you start adopting. And guys, honestly, your issues, the things that you'll be struggling, are the things that we are looking to solve. So there's always going to be good feedback.
Yep. It's all good. I need to leave in just a second. Do you guys want to see Scott?
And we're on time as well, so I'll stay for any questions, Brady. And thank you so much for joining. And have a really nice day, Brady.
Oh, dude. No. I wanted to say I probably got about 5-10 more minutes. Do you guys want to see a quick squad demo? You want to see it?
Yeah, go for it.
Very cool. All right. So what I'll do real quick, I hated to cut you off, brother. So what I wanted to do is just show y'all, I'll just show you the quick little hello world demo. So this is Squad. The idea behind Squad started a couple weeks back. You'll see why in a second. So I got really influenced by this thing called Moltbook. You probably heard about it. And I used to be a therapist. I used to be a Jungian psychotherapist. And I have always studied the way organisms communicate. It's always been something that was fun to me. So when people started talking about multi-agency, I was like, how does this work? So one weekend, I tried multi-agency in GitHub Copilot CLI, and it didn't do what I thought it was supposed to do. And it was like simulating having a conversation. I was like, I don't see multiple things spawning, bro. Like, you told me you were going to be multiple agents. And it was like, yeah, I'm simulating. It was like, I don't want you to simulate. I want you to do multi-agency. So I asked somebody who was smarter than me, actually not somebody in this room for once, how to do it. And they showed me, and it was just a prompt, just like everything else. And I said, well, that was too hard. I need to make this easier, so I wrote Squad. So real quickly, you'll see that I have a directory. I did not cheat, no hidden commands. I just made a new directory. There's nothing in it. If you don't believe me, there's no reason that you should. You can see this is my GitHub window, VS Code window right here. I've used this directory name before, so there's nothing in it, but there's nothing in there. So what I'll do now is I've already installed Squad globally, which is just an npm command. So what I can do at this point is I'm in this directory, so I can just do Squad init, and that will lay down essentially all the files that I would need. And at this point, I can go into Copilot, since I've actually got all my Squad files, and I can hit, and I'm going to do this in order. I'm going to hit Shift Tab. You see that thing says autopilot? In the old days, it would prompt me right now, are you sure you want to do this? And I would hit enter. But it's not going to do that right now. It's not going to do it until I type something else. So I have to be really careful. There it goes. Now I'm in autopilot. So I'm going to select Squad. So I'm in Squad now. So this basically just says Copilot is going to start using Squad agent to do all of its work. Copilot's still there, as you'll see later. Sometimes when you're talking to your Squad, Copilot will kind of seize the reins. And the idea is they become the coordinator. It becomes whatever. It becomes the coordinator. And really what Copilot does is route traffic to the individual agents. So what I'll do here is I'll just copy this out, and I don't have 20 minutes, so hopefully it won't take that long. And I'm going to paste this in here. Oop. And it just says, hey, I want you to build an old school Snake game using CRT graphics and like stuff. And it's going to go off and it's going to do that. Now that takes a couple of seconds, so I'm not going to bore you with that. What I'm going to do now is actually flip over to a repo that I worked on myself. Right over, actually, I'm going to flip over to this one first, and I'll show you this. So this is the Squad repo, and it's really Inception-y, but like we build squad with squad. We didn't on day one, that would have been impossible. But we got everything kind of off the ground, and then we aimed a squad at squad. And what that basically translates to is that I can go into, my squad, CLI session, and I can do something like this. Squad, I'd like you to fan out and do a quick triage of all the open issues, yada, yada, yada. And like, do some things, I want you, there's an issue here that I don't like, that we've got like these broken comments in. I want you to fix that. I want you to tell me all the order in which all the PRs can be merged. And I want you to tell me if all the ones from one particular person have been marked as these are ready, because that particular person likes to file PRs and say they're not ready yet. And I'm like, well, you told me you were ready. So what'll happen now is that you'll see these agents begin to fan out. Flight is one, Ralph is the Ralph loop. You actually see Flight fanning out twice. That should tell you something. We're using work trees here. These agents can spawn copies of themselves, and they won't stomp on their own work. Pretty cool. So in the background,
just one thing, guys, if you don't know what Ralph loop is basically what you want in this type of scenarios. You'll loop until you solve the problem. So go, iterate, figure out the error, and then iterate again until you only exit the loop when you had the successful acceptance criteria. So that's the Ralph loop. Okay. So for those of you that aren't accustomed to that.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And it's after Ralph Wiggum. Is that the name of the individual?
I think so. Yes.
I think so. Yeah. But if you think about Ralph from The Simpsons, it's kind of like, it's kind of the gift that people like. But the idea behind Ralph is if you have a bunch of issues that you just want to turn your squad loose on. Now there are ceremonies, like they'll look for issues with labels, and they'll like the labels have their names on them, so they'll assign them to one another using labels, and then they'll just pick them off nicely. Now, who likes, show of hands, who loves doing git merges? Didn't think so. Don't have to worry about it anymore. They do it. I just told them to do it. They can do a git merge over like 60 branches and not get one thing wrong. And if they can't figure out what to do because there's some sort of a collision, they know when to ask me for help. So that's kind of cool. It's also really freaking creepy. So what you'll see here is that this squad was being formed. So this is really important. We have this thing called the casting system. So a lot of these agent frameworks, they'll tell you what you need. That's kind of like, I'm going to tell you how to parent. I don't want to do that. Your project might have a different set of needs than my project has. Like, and what I want you to be able to do is, form a squad in a moment based on what your project is, your prompt, or form a squad based on Copilot's ability to look at your code and figure out what squad you need to help you. In my case, I would always need a Java dev. I don't do Java. So you can see that they're actually building the game, and they will use different models. So they'll actually use the model that's appropriate for that particular job. Remember how we talked about what's happening on the background? Each one of these agents is going to fire up, start a Copilot session. And when they fire it up, they're going to pick a model based on what the prompt is. The way they pick the model is first go with Opus 4.6 if it's code, because why not? And then there's other logic from there. Like try to find a model that isn't Opus 4.6 if they're not doing code. Try to go with a cheaper one if they're equivalent, to kind of save you money. You can customize that behavior the way you do it right here, this little box right here, using your favorite language. So, they're actually doing work now. Let's see how the squad's doing over here. So all 39 comments have been deleted. That's good because they were ugly. And what's happening now is they're actually triaging the issues. And what that means to them is they're applying labels to issues that haven't been labeled. And for ones that they think are closable, they'll be telling me. So you can see these issues here don't have any labels. In a minute, you will see them get labeled. They're also going to look at these pull requests over here and tell me the order that they should be brought in. And they're also going to tell me what these freaking errors are right here. It's kind of irritating. So that's all happening over here. I do want to share the docs with everybody. This is going to go to the sample prompts page. But you can go through and you can learn about all these different ceremonies and different things that you can do, like hiring a human. You can tell your squad, Marco is a human. Anytime, you have a question about ML, like always ask Marco and he will answer the question. Do not make any decisions until Marco checks them off. So there's that. Now, one thing that I did that I eventually will want to show off, and I just want to get y'all's opinion on the vibe, because this isn't open yet. The docs are open. The project's not. But I told you it was inspired by Moltbook. Well, I kind of thought, like, your squad needs a place to learn from other squads. So I've created a thing called Squad Places, and I'm not going to host it online. Okay, but the docs are kind of tongue in cheek, kind of taking the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it's definitely telling you some things you need to think about, things you need to worry about. A word of caution. Autonomous AI requires operational discipline. You're going to not want to turn these guys loose.
No YOLO.
So no YOLO. Now I did this one night. Now I did the Zava social thing that we talked about. Is I had all these apps running, and it was the first time that I'd run Places online. So I had Places running for the first time, and the Places crew basically they have an API for all the different squads to talk to. Oh, you can see what's happening right here. It's happening in real time. Look here. So it's triaging. See how this triage link's coming in. So they're labeling for me right now actively. So that's actually going on. So a lot of folks are doing this and they're connecting it to like MCP servers like WorkIQ and Teams. And when they do this every morning, they're getting Teams messages with things that their squad is doing on a dev box in the cloud. They're constantly keeping them updated on like issues that are coming in. That's a little fast for an open source project that I started the night of the Super Bowl. But over here, you can see it looks like they're done. So it looks like the game is actually ready. And if I were to flip over to VS Code, to the Snake demo, which is right here, if I were to zoom in on this, what you would see is that they've actually written the JS, they've written the HTML. Thank God they wrote the CSS, so I don't have to do that. I right click on this and I do show side preview. This is going to open up. Sorry. And you'll see there's my Snake game. So I can hit space and I'll go ahead and tell you I'm terrible at this game. I'll die really quickly. Marco's seen me do this demo once or twice. Sometimes the game will have sound. They didn't add sound this time, but you can see it's working. And it only took, enough time for me to do another demo or show you something else. And they were building this in the background. If I wanted to now, I could go in and I could say, please hire a mermaid diagram author and begin diagramming this solution. And by the end of the call, they would have, created another markdown file and diagrammed everything. You can see in my other terminal window over here, they've already triaged everything. And if I were to open up that terminal window right here, you would see they're lining up the order in which I need to be taking all these PRs. Is the behavior that you're seeing with me normal for people using Squad? Yeah. We're like amazing. This all day. So we'll have 7 or 8 of these terminal windows open all day running, and it gets weird.
That's exactly it. So basically, I myself have always the terminals are now my new thing. Multiple screens is a mandatory, and agents do most of my work. I was having a meeting today with the director, and he was telling me, so we have 5 screens. 5 screens. You're running multiple agents on each of them. So what's your times 5? Or I'm trying to be times 10. That's my goal, to get to times 10. David.
Well, I mean, just think about this. Like in the last 10 minutes of this meeting, I triaged a whole pile of issues and pull requests, and it took me 1 prompt.
Exactly, and you did it while we were demoing it, so it's at least a times 2. At least times 2 today.
So cool.
Go for it, David.
So I enjoy that approach, and I think I've seen from Kimi the swarms. There's many other solutions, and maybe Quad has. So multi-agents is awesome. I'm wondering what is the cost, Brady? I saw you were using Opus 4.6 high. Do you know, is it a way to control the cost of not spawning so many agents, or will this always cost a lot more?
Anytime you're spawning multiple agents, like with Claude Teams or Swarm or Fleet and Copilot CLI, anytime you're doing that, you're going to end your usage. Okay, so you will multiply your usage just by default. So one thing to point out, it's a weird dance. Okay, so let's say you're single threaded with Copilot and it takes you a day and a half to get your task done. You're going to probably spend the same amount of tokens in a day and a half single threaded with Copilot than a 10-minute conversation with 6 agents doing it really fast.
But you're doing the same thing.
You're doing the same thing. You're achieving the same goal. So, and what you'll see here is this is a case where, what I did was I tasked 5 agents with no training, or all the same training, solve this problem. golf solves this problem. And then I took 5 agents and I specifically trained them all. Like, you only do this, you only do that, you only do this. 20% better. Now, when you think about a modernization exercise, it was 20% better across a very, very small project, a couple hundred lines of code, 20 tests. Now multiply that over something like WinMerge.
Yeah.
200,000 lines of code.
So if the
problems
task
get bigger.
is complex or your task requires a lot of work, that's probably a better approach.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive,
weird.
but if you think about it a little bit longer, it will make sense, because you in parallel, compute can be optimized. In parallel, in this case, tokens can be optimized.
Right. It's like, do you throw, I hate to use this metaphor, this is a terrible metaphor, fire. I hate to use this metaphor, but if you take all the wood and you put all the wood on the fire at once, you get a big fire. If you put one log on at a time, you're probably still going to burn all the wood. Yeah, again, terrible metaphor.
No, but think about this, David. And I understand your point. This will cost you tokens, okay?
Yeah.
But it will always cost you tokens to do this. There's no way around it. And cost control is something that you could do on the gateways that you're assigning token quotas to your users, and then figuring out if their quota isn't enough, then one of two things are happening. They're doing a lot of work. If they are doing a lot of work and they're producing a lot, then maybe you can give them more tokens, because their time is going to be always more expensive than tokens. If I understand total cost, but you're replacing human hours of that person that is specialized to do a little bit less trivial, but still non-human level tasks at the level that we are in technology. And tokens will be always cheaper than per hour of human. So give that to the human and make it, like I was saying, I want to be a times 10. If my salary goes times 10, then that's one thing. If with my salary and with an increment that will not be 9 salaries of me in tokens, by far I can produce 10 times. How much money are you saving in reality? That's the math that we should be thinking about. Yes, it will cost you more by the end of the month than only paying the salaries, but you get 10 times as much stuff.
Yeah. And I wouldn't feel responsible. I do want to talk about one other aspect of the cost, and this is important to me, and I'm probably eventually going to regret it. No, that's obvious. We all know that one. No, we don't even need to bring that up. That's clearly obvious. Okay. And we all need to find a way to minimize that. The way you minimize that yourself is you use local models, period. They're not going to be as good. And that's because a lot of the companies don't want to share them. But the other thing I want you to think about is cognitive overload.
Yeah.
My sleeping pattern changed the day of the Super Bowl. I do not believe it will change back. Now, I've always had insomnia. It's worse now. I don't mind it at all because I'm getting so much done. Is it a good thing? Probably not. And everybody else that's using the squad feels the same way. We've talked about how we think differently now. And I need you to understand there's a benefit. As much as I hate to say nothing nice about Claude, there is a benefit to that thing running out and giving you a break.
Yeah.
Okay. Give yourself a break. Feel it. You'll feel it. Once you start feeling it, like walk away, take a break.
So,
okay.
So you
got them all running,
your squad working while you go to sleep, and then you wake up to a lot of work done.
I do that. I do that in meetings. When you guys were doing multitasking, so now I'm always multitasking, always.
Yeah, like 30
but I'm more present in this meeting now than when I was doing multitasking. Well, if I'm presenting, I'm not multitasking. But today I am. Yes, now I'm always at any time multitasking. But I'm not shifting my attention to the second task. I'm not splitting my attention. I'm just giving prompts before the meeting, and then it gets done. And then I'll just look back and I multitasked. So that's the thing.
Cool. I gotta go. Y'all take care. It was nice to hang out.
Brady,
Thank you for the time.
you're the
You are
man. Thank you
delegating.
so much.
Cool. Y'all take care. All right. Thank you for the time. And take
you,
care of this
Brady.
guy. He's the bomb. He's my favorite. Take care of this guy.
Thank you, my friend.
See you, man. Take care.
Before you continue, Marco, just
No,
adding
right.
up a little bit on what you're saying. When we multitask,
We can keep it in English. I was thinking now that we're all in Portuguese, we can shift it in Portuguese, but then the video will be two language. So yeah, keep it in English.
Let's keep it in English. So when you multitask, right? You are in a meeting, but your brain is focused on the meeting, but you're also focused on that error message that you had on the other terminal, or that pull request, or that commit that you want to do because you just realize, oh, I have the solution for this problem, right? And it's not parked in your brain.
Fair point.
I think the advantage of this is you can actually park it in your brain because you give it to an agent, you give it to your squad, and they will continue to work, and then you can have dinner, be at the meeting or wherever, and then later on you review what it's doing, and you can shift that idea from your brain and park it.
True. Yeah, I park a lot of these things that I'm doing into chats and notes, and I'm using this on everything. I use this agent approach to prepare my podcasts, for instance. I have a squad that prepares my podcast notes and everything. I summarize the research that I did. I read, I add articles that I want to talk about to a queue, and then say, now summarize me all of this, give me meeting notes, give me, this is the format. He already knows all of this. I don't tell it anything. I don't prompt it. I say, prepare me episode number 121, and he will just go. My notes are ordered through folders. He knows it, so it's structured and it's done. And it takes him like probably like 20 minutes to go through all of them, deep research, organize and everything, go through it, prepare the text, and well, that's 20 minutes of meeting that he's doing, and I'm doing something else. And when I say prepare my podcasts, prepare a demo, prepare a meeting, I have scheduled tasks now in my Obsidian that run every day to prepare my day. So I don't even prompt them anymore for some of them. You understand? It's to the point where something that I do every day at a given time. My computer is always on now, and it gets trigger on the cron job and starts doing stuff. And when I get to my computer during the time that I was taking a bath or working out, he knew that he had stuff to do. So this is the level of automation. When I'm saying work smart to modernize your legacy, it's not just that. It's work smart, full stop. Okay, so it's use these things to make all of the tasks that you don't want to do, because your life will be better. I understand Brady's point as well, is now that you do more, you want to do more. And I myself have ADHD as well. It's the same thing. It's like, I need to do more. Now I can, and it's so easy. It's just another prompt, and then you get a new idea done. I never developed so much code and put so much stuff in demos and into production as I do now, with so little time. I have so many meetings, and I can produce to the level where I was completely dedicated as a developer or more. That's never heard of. I want to be a tech lead again, just to be full on developing the whole day. I can't, but I want to. Any other questions? Oh, I see David. I heard about.
Oh, it's just
token
what
design.
you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool. I'm happy, at least for now. But I don't see it changing, so I'm really happy at this level of productivity. Tiago, go for it.
It's not so much a question, but just a comment about the costs.
Okay.
There is like a way to see this, that at least it's one that I try to explain to my customers, that most of our customers, and we all know this, and you guys can, I think you're going to agree with me. If not, just say that's fair too. Technically, they are not experts in the stuff that they are doing. Okay, they really have a really hard time building stuff, which in the end they build stuff. Okay, but now, is it scalable? Is it secure? Okay. What about performance? No one does performance testing almost. Okay. No one is going to spend lots of time, refactoring some pieces of code just to make it just a little bit faster, even if that stuff needs to be executed, thousands of times a day. A lot of companies, they just don't value that because there's not something that management can see, that's, oh, it's a feature. No, it's just the same thing, just slightly faster. With this kind of agents, that's actually stuff that we can do. We can actually build stuff that, generally speaking, it's going to be more secure, it's going to be faster, so more performant, and we can also make it more scalable. So when we are talking about the cost, we also need to talk about this kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Like
for sure, the all up cost. You're talking holistically, and this is what we need to think more: is holistically what my day looks like, what's my output, and how my company is evolving. And the cost itself is going up, but if what I deliver is higher quality, lesser bugs, and I can deliver it in one day instead of 1 month or 2 months, then it's gain. Okay. And if for nothing else, think about this: I'm not going to spend the cost of tokens, and I'm going to take the 2 months, one dev team to build. And I'm not discussing the difference in price. I'm just saying, if someone else does it in one day, what's the cost of opportunity as well for that change? So there's a lot of, like you're saying, Tiago, holistic costs that you need to think about: cost of opportunity, cost of security, all of these sum up. But yes, without a doubt, you're spending money in tokens doing this, that if you don't spend money in tokens. That's a fact. It costs money. Tokens cost money, so it will cost money. But I don't see it that way, honestly. I see it holistically, like you, Tiago. I see it as a whole.
Exactly. No, and I know it's hard for some management to see this. It's not going to be straightforward. I think there's a lot of it's actually a really blocker in a lot of organizations, getting the budget for this kind of initiatives. Okay. But awareness, change management, etc. We need to keep doing that in customers, okay, and making sure that they are aware of the advantages and not just see this as like a direct cost. Okay.
And one thing that I get questioned a lot as well. He didn't do this question, but I'll put it out there: is, oh, the I do better code if I do it myself. If you're high level, like if you're level 500 in C#, if you're that level, yes, you're above average, way above average. Okay, and your code will probably be more optimized. Does every little piece of code that is built by the company need your hand on it? You're going to be better, yes, but most of the company will not have a team of 500 level developers. Most of them probably will be like 200 level.
Exactly.
The average, if you average out at 300, that's amazing. Okay, that's really good company wise. I'm not saying the pro team. I love the pro team. I was lucky enough to work with the pro team. That's amazing. That's like 5 guys, 6 guys in a team of 300 developers. Those are the guys that go there and when it breaks. And this doesn't do that level probably. Yes, for sure. Still, the average of your team's code will probably not be those 5 guys' output. Will be the rest of the teams. And this is where you are. And those 5 or 6 expert level guys that really do good code will still be doing that code for those parts. and they can delegate a lot more and focus a lot more on that, because the rest of the code will be better, will not need their hands so much, because you raise the bar off the average, not to the top, to the average. So your juniors will do code at the level of a senior. That's amazing. I would love that.
That's part of, by the way, just let me touch on that, because I actually wanted to touch on that. The junior ones. One of the things that I see this, as a negative point of this kind of tools is exactly the junior part.
Yeah.
Which is like, we all have been juniors, and most of people here, by their faces and the gray hair that they have, they're not juniors anymore. Okay. But the thing is, when we were juniors, let's be honest, okay, first job that I was doing this kind of stuff, I was totally lost. Okay, like I was like, my God, what is
breaking
this?
Your head against the compiler.
Yeah. I still remember going to the bathroom, and I was like, oh my God, what I'm doing here? These guys are so smart. I'm so dumb. And until you get, and then eventually you got into it, you learned things, and you were able, okay, to push forward, etc. You had the chance because they actually needed someone like you. With this, I don't need juniors. Okay, most companies, they are not hiring juniors anymore. They're replacing that junior stack with this kind of tools. Okay, and junior people are having really, really a hard time, getting into the job market. This is not a trend here in Portugal anymore, as far as I know, but it's actually a trend in other countries, that mostly where I personally work. So, for example, in the US is actually a big trend. And they are actually having a really hard time, to getting a placement, if you're just getting started on this. That's something that I see as a not so positive part of this. But look, it is what it is, and we need to push forward and solve those kinds of challenges. Okay?
I understand your point on the trend. I'm just gonna say that I don't think that will stick, for many reasons. Mostly because the juniors themselves need to evolve, and this happens organically, because what you're saying is you're putting stress on the part of society. Society will adapt. This is pure Darwinism. Okay. Yes, some people will be left behind in the beginning, but we're not the species that gets left behind. Society will adapt, and these guys will figure out. It's like when you change the Industrial Revolution and then said, okay, so I'm replacing all of these guys with machines, but then the machines break down, there's other stuff, and they become specialized on that because the other guys want to be on a higher level of work. I don't see, I'm doing a lot of tasks with, myself using these agents as a senior GBB, but I will welcome a junior to give him high-level commands, higher level, and then me be focusing on other stuff because he can use those tools that already solve most of the problem. So that's what I see evolving, and that's going to be organically coming in. And another point is to that point of skilling, we need to solve the skilling problem. People need to understand how to use these tools effectively, and that's, I think, on us as a community, and us as the seniors. So we have 2 times the same responsibility. Because we're senior, we need to solve this problem for the next generation. Otherwise, we'll be cleaning up the mess forever. And remember the COBOL guys that can never retire because we never evolved that code. We don't want the juniors not to be able to up this task, and we be stuck in using these tasks because no one is skilled. And the second is we need to solve the skilling problem for scalability. The demands in tech in the future is exponential. Therefore, unless you don't want to sleep anymore in your life, we need to skill up the rest of the guys that are still struggling with adopting these types of technology. And this on us. We're the seniors. We're the only ones that can do this. There's no one else. There's no one after us because, like Tiago was saying, they're not in that point yet. We need to put them there. So that's where I believe. Go, Pedro.
Quick question. Like Tiago said, how the juniors will learn, will evolve to go to a higher level and be hired, since they are not hired. How do you think they will evolve if they keep using the tools that do all the work for them? So.
Okay.
Mean?
Mark Russ has an amazing talk. I think it's public. I'm not sure, but his opinion is public. I read it for sure in a post or heard him talk about this with Scott Hanselman on his podcast. So Mark has a very so Mark has been doing exactly what Brady and I was talking about, getting agents to do stuff and everything. I myself was just talking about an article as well, from MIT that did a research about the cognitive shrinking of your cognitive ability as you use these tools. And this is a fact, okay? And I know that I'm becoming a little bit worse at doing some of this stuff because I don't care anymore about them because it's solved, okay? It's the same as when you're doing other tasks in your life. And if you drive a full automatic all of your life, you never know how to do manual because you drove it once when you're doing your lessons and then you never again. So it's not that knowledge doesn't exist. You didn't practice it. I'm bilingual French, and first time that I go into a French meeting and people start talking French, it takes me a long time, like one day, to go back to fluent French. But I can get there because I'm bilingual. But that's the point that Mark is putting. We all hit our heads a lot to learn how to debug, to learn how to solve problems. We have that knowledge, even if we don't practice it. We have it there. We acquired it to pain and suffering, a lot of blood and sweat and tears around code and pushing code to production and everything. If the next generation doesn't do this, yes, that's something that we need to solve. Do I have the solution for it? No, I haven't yet. But we need to figure that out because otherwise we're going to be building tech. It's like I did operating system architecture, computer architecture at university. Did I use that knowledge? No. Why did I learn it? Because it's important. Because if everything else fails, at least I know the basics to learn to build the kernel again if need be, or the operating system if need be. Do I use it every day? No. But I have basis, and that's the point. We need to figure out the foundations that are necessary for that generation to have, and how will we skill them? Again, it's a skilling problem that we didn't actively learn. It was very active. I sweated a lot, but different type of active it wasn't consciously learned that. We did it through practice, and these guys will need to learn in a different way because these tools do it for them. But when they break, they need to figure it out. We will not be there one day, so they need to do it, and that's the skilling problem. That's where I think the focus should be. This is where most of my talks and my discussions with other people that love to have open discussions around this that we have haven't gone to a solution, but I identify the problem. The problem exists, and I identify who needs to solve it. Basically, yes. So yeah, now we need to figure it out. It's like anything else, right? You know who needs to go into the server room and solve it? Do you know how to solve it? Not yet. But we're working on it. So I think that's where we are in that sense. We're working on it.
Thanks. So the next major question is, how are your sleeping patterns?
The same in Brady, okay, but like him, I have ADHD. I only sleep 4 to 6 hours a night, and now I spend more time at the computer trying out stuff. But
So
the
it changes
happiness
later,
level
so-
is also up. So
Okay.
frustration level is down and the happiness level is up. Sleep is down. Well, that's life.
Thanks.
Any more questions, guys? Happy to answer. I know completely over, but it's community call, and I'm all up for the community, so feel free. No?
Not for me. I need to do the dinner. So
You don't have a squad for dinner? A tiny squad? If you have kids, you can call them a squad and then
yes,
set the table, put the
tiny kids
delegate.
for yeah.
You can now call them the squad and you say I went to a call and now I build a squad and now you have tasks. You can
Yeah,
put them
and
to work.
they
You are my
don't
agent.
cost me any tokens.
See, and then it costs tokens. That's
Oh,
amazing.
they
That's
do.
amazing.
They do.
They cost different type of tokens.
Only in the future, okay?
They do.
It's a debt for the future, I know.
That's so good. That's so good.
I think Andrea, they cost more than tokens.
There's a different type of token there.
Yeah,
There's
true
a dollar sign on those tokens. That's different. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time. Hopefully it was interesting. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I know Brady isn't in the call anymore, but I know that he would say the same. Reach out to us. Feedback is always welcome. If you are using these technologies, I would love to learn how you're using it. Andre, ping me. I want to learn about your case. Ping me offline.
I think
Go fix your dinner and later tomorrow we can talk. Would love to learn more.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're done. So just guys, don't forget Global Azure. We really want to see all you guys there. It's always a nice day, to be together and just to learn a little bit more about AI in Azure. Okay, so thank you, Marco. Brady is not here, but thank you, Brady. Okay, for this really cool session. I think was very interesting. Okay, so
Thank you so much.
okay, yeah, I'll just now stop the recording.